Oh, well, Grand Rising, welcome to Millionaire Mindset Monday. Today is January 12th, 2024. And I am one of your co-hosts, Danyelle Claxton, owner and operator of Blooming Lotus Wellness. And I also have my co-host, LaKeisha LaGrande, owner of Natural Living by Design. And we also have Miss Carr on today as our special guest. How is everybody this morning?
Wonderful.
Doing
Wonderful,
well.
wonderful, wonderful. I am so excited. It is Monday, the second day of the week. It started Sunday, it's the first day of the week. So today is the second day, and I'm just so excited. Today is a great day to have a great day.
Amen.
And for those who don't know, we love to start off our Mondays with a wonderful and amazing success story. So I thought because it is Black History Month, I would go ahead and share a success story of a Black entrepreneur. Robert F. Smith. Robert F. Smith was born on December the 1st, 1962, in Denver, Colorado, as an American businessman, investor, and philanthropist, renowned for his remarkable success in the financial industry. His journey from a childhood to becoming one of the most influential figures in finance is a testament of resilience, determination, and entrepreneurial spirit. Robert Frederick Smith was raised in a predominantly African American middle class neighborhood in Denver. His parents, both school teachers, installed in him the values of education, hard work, and ambition from a young age. Despite facing challenges, including racial discrimination, Smith excelled academically and displayed a keen interest in technology and business. Smith attended Carson Elementary School before earning a scholarship to attend the prestigious private school Kent Denver School. He later pursued a degree in chemical engineering at Cornell University, where he graduated with honors in 1985. Following his undergrad studies, Smith went on to obtain an MBA from Columbia Business School in 1994. After completing his undergrad studies, Smith embarked on his professional journey, initially working in a chemical engineering for Kraft General Foods. However, his passion for finance led him to transition into investment banking. In 1994, Smith joined Goldman Sachs, where he gained invaluable experience and rapidly rose through the ranks. He developed expertise in mergers and acquisitions, becoming one of the firm's top deal makers. His tenure at Goldman Sachs laid the foundation of his future success as an investor and entrepreneur. In 2000, Mr. Smith made a pivotal decision that would redefine his career trajectory. He founded Vista Equity Partners, a private equity and venture capital firm focused on investing in software and technology-enabled businesses. Smith recognized the immense potential of the technology industry and saw an opportunity to leverage his expertise to generate significant returns for investors. Under Smith's visionary leadership, Vista Equity Partners experienced rapid growth and emerged as one of the most successful investment firms in the world. The firm's distinctive approach, centered on operational excellence and strategic acquisitions, yielded exceptional results, consistently overperforming market benchmarks. Despite his remarkable success in the financial realm, Robert F. Smith is equally renowned for his philanthropic endeavors and commitment to social causes. He has made substantial contributions to education, healthcare, and cultural institutions, with a particular focus on supporting underserved communities and promoting diversity in STEM fields. In 2019, Smith made headlines for his unprecedented gesture during his commencement address at Morehouse College. He pledged to eliminate the student loan debt for the entire graduating class, alleviating a significant financial burden for hundreds of students and their families. Wow, that is so fantastic to have your student loans for the whole class. Come
Wow.
on now.
Yeah.
Robert Smith's journey from humble beginnings to becoming a billionaire business mogul exemplifies the transformative power of perseverance, innovation, and philanthropy. His achievements have earned him widespread acclaim and numerous accolades, including being named among the wealthiest individuals in the world by Forbes magazine. Beyond his financial success, Smith's legacy is defined by his commitment to making a positive impact on society and empowering future generations through education and opportunity. As a role model and trailblazer, he continues to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs and business leaders worldwide with his extraordinary story of success and significance. I declare and I declare and decree that the Elizabeth is also a success story.
Yes, I agree. Ashe.
We are a success story. And
Speaking of,
as we listen to these different success stories, we're all getting familiar with what it's like being a millionaire and a billionaire. They all are philanthropists. They're all making a change. It's not just for us, it's to make a change in the community. How powerful is that to bless? Look, I wish somebody paid my student loans for me when I graduated with my undergrad or master's degree.
Me too. Yeah, and the awesome position is the awesome thing is to be in a position to pay everybody's loan. Now,
Yes.
yeah, at whatever age that to be able to do it.
Yes, that's a blessing.
That's where all of us we're gonna all be able to do that one day.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. I actually try to be a blessing today, as much as I can,
Yes,
with
you
what
are.
I do have,
Yes.
because
Yes.
I want to be in practice. I'm practicing. I'm acting as though they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that being said, I would love to talk about introduce Miss Angie Card. I had the pleasure of meeting her at a pop-up event, and oh my gosh, she was such a fresh of breath air. We have a lot of things in common. She loves helping people to become financially independent, to help them to become financial literacy. She loves helping young women just like I do. And I'm excited to hear what Miss Angela Carr has to share with us today. Um, So, Angela, you go ahead, girl. Take the flow. Take the flow.
Thank
Now,
you so much. And I apologize that I don't have my camera on. I have some work-related stuff behind me, and so for compliance reason, I have to be behind the wall today. So, I usually pop up on the Zoom calls and y'all see my face. So I apologize for that, but thank you so much. This is already inspirational for me, just to wake up. A lot of people, they don't wake up, they're not grateful or anything. They just kind of wing in the day. But to start the day off with a positive mindset and a focus and a goal as to what you want to succeed, what you want to accomplish for that day is awesome. And I wake up every day like that. I work currently with a nonprofit organization I think they're kind of framing themselves as like a charm school for these younger generation young ladies. And I like to come in and talk about the mindset of success as it relates to finances, because it truly is a mindset. And one of the things that, I noticed the first session I had with these young ladies, they were about 13 years old. And it was the whole topic of finances was boring to them. And it wasn't until it wasn't until I started kind of painting the reality of why the foundations and the psychology of money is important that they kind of stopped. They were in their phones throughout the Zoom call. And then I stopped and they kind of stopped when I say, I mean, how many of you intend to be broke for the rest of your life? And they just kind of looked like it was like a pause moment, like, wait. And it's like, even though you may think that you're only 13 years old, that mindset that you can foster early to be successful and to have a good attitude with money is everything. I said, how many of you have friends and they have a job and they get their paycheck and then within a couple of days they're broke again, and now they're raising their hands? And so I like to touch into the foundation of the habits, because Dr. Claude Anderson, he's one of my favorite Black economists. He says that a lot of times in the African American community, it is our behaviors and our mindsets that limits our economic power. And so whether it's the advisory relationship with my clients or individuals that I do seminars with, I really try to foster the mindset behind planning and management around finances. Is that it, LaKeisha? Did you need me to do more? I can break down like so what we do is we do mindset we talk about certain key topics, whether it's with the younger crowds or even with our adult age group. We talk about the mindset, we talk about individuality in terms of building their own mental sort of supreme court of rationality in their mind, meaning that they understand that acquiring knowledge and understanding is the way that they're going to be able to develop themselves individually, and that can't happen if they're doing and mimicking other things that other people are doing. And this kind of goes with everyone. You see someone, Cheryl got a big old house. I want a big old house like Cheryl. And it's that keeping up with the Joneses mentality that people tend to adopt that really hurts themselves. And then just being goals-based, understanding sort of what you're doing. So as I'm teaching them that as they're making money, they're acquiring money, just as you said, what are you doing with this money? What is this money doing for you? What is this money enabling you to be able to do, like philanthropy, helping your community, paying forward your blessings to other people, things like that. And then I talk about convictions. You have to have convictions. If you're not operating with some level of conviction, then you're kind of winging it at that point. And that's where a lot of people, we start off in life kind of winging it because we're still developing our convictions, or someone hasn't taught us how to develop them. So we kind of have to go by trial and error in life. And then we talk about self-control, and then peace of mind and protection. And all of those things are the ingredients that I'm trying to infuse in these young ladies and other people, and really how to have a stabilized life. And I think once people adopt these things, they do realize that peace of mind is priceless. And when you sort of plan for not just what you want, but just the unexpected, there's a balance to an individual that kind of affords them to have better mental health than other people, because they're kind of planning for what they want, but also for times that may be unforeseen. So just this whole psychology of financial planning is what I like to center on when I'm talking to people.
So with that being said, I wanted to piggyback on something because, all our life when we were younger, you heard about keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the same aspect of how you're presenting keeping up with the Joneses,
Or the Kardashians. I think that it's the Kardashians these
Right.
days.
Now.
Well, so my mentor, has a different take on it. You know, we
Mhm.
always hear that keeping up with the Joneses is bad. You shouldn't try to do it. But at the same time, it can be very motivating and encouraging and get you to strive for more. So he used to give us homework assignments, Mr. Cartwright, to go to multi-million-dollar homes, to go to, you know, different places, you know, to travel, to do different things so you can see more. Because as far when you go as far as you can see, when you get there, you're gonna see some more. And I have to say, me being a young child, you know, a young adult, you know, I would be inspired by different things that I would see, these big multi-million-dollar homes. So it gave me an inspiration, something to look forward to, something to try to gain and obtain. You know,
Yeah,
oh, I want one of them. So it helped me to put things
it's
in.
nothing. I was going to say it's nothing wrong with seeing and experiencing, but what we need to understand is, okay, understand how people got to that, because there are people that just,
Right.
there's people that, how can they fake the funk, they fake it till they make it, or they
Yes.
put themselves in extreme debt just to
Absolutely.
quote unquote floss. Like I grew up late 90s, early 2000s. There was a show called MTV Cribs,
Yep.
where these celebrities showed off their houses and everything. 98% of those houses were rented, were
Yep.
staged, and was
Mm,
completely fake. And it's like, oh, I
absolutely.
could see it. And it's like, wait a minute, nah, they
And
ain't.
as a financial advisor, I'm gonna tell you right now, because I see it all the time, you know, where people may come off as if they are better, they're better financially well off than they really are. But then I always go to the balance sheets of people, and it's not even about how much you, even if you have a savings account. Now we're talking about your long-term strategy, depending on how old you are. And this is not financial advice at all, but depending on how old you are, right, your liquidity should be at a certain level, that if anything should happen to you, just unforeseen, because it happens. A lot of people, they have the mindset, I'm going to work forever, right? But then their health sometimes, or life just sort of takes them out the game, and there's an economic hit there. And then you really start to see who's really doing as good as they kind of floss like they are. So I think that there's a divine balance with, you know, sort of coveting after what other people want, or desiring what other people want, or have, I should say. You got to find your divine balance. Like for me, I'm a financial advisor. I work really hard. I work for the stability of the lifestyle that I want to achieve. I don't covet a mansion. I don't want a mansion. I understand the maintenance and the long-term economic maintenance of a mansion. So that's not something that I would practically covet. But, you know, I think that somebody who covets having a mansion, a lot of time it's just the idea of having that thing. A lot of times they don't understand the maintenance that goes into those things. Like if you get a foreign car, a lot of times the maintenance on foreign cars are a little bit more expensive than getting, you know, one that's domestically made. So I mean, the whole psychology is cool as long as you understand the what it entails to have all of those things. I know rich guys right now who they've had several yachts, and now they want to downsize because they realize that they only got the second yacht because their buddy got one. And now they have to maintain these yachts because you're not going to be on your yacht all year. You're going to have to dock
Mhm.
it. You're going to have to pay rent to have that yacht stay somewhere, because that yacht can't fit in your backyard mansion most of the time. So there's a lot of maintenance that go into a lot of these things. And even when you think about celebrities, right? Like you'll take like a random one like Cardi B, right? She has a net worth of, I believe, $80 million, right? But when you think about the yearly maintenance it takes to maintain a
Change,
lifestyle for a Cardi B, you're
or just
talking about
maintain her, right? The hair, the nails, the
you're
makeup, the
talking about
clothes, the
multiple
travel.
millions of dollars coming out of that 80 million. And for a celebrity, 80 million can go away really quickly. That's why it's very shocking to a lot of us when we see a guy, he played in the NBA for 4 years, walked out with 4.5 million, and now he's broke. That's because the income stream stopped like he didn't have the same income, but he never adjusted the lifestyle, right? Because he was still trying to keep up with the Joneses. And he was basically walking depletion, is what I call some of these people. You're walking depletion because you're invested in real assets that are really depleting your money long term.
All right. So
Okay,
I
you're
thought that
finally
was
speaking a I'm sorry, I say you're finally speaking a language that I understand. And I know Sharonda said, I wish somebody sat me down and taught me about the 401k. I'm one of those kids that people that finances was boring growing up, especially personal finances. And it wasn't until a woman came out with a planner that sat down and made me sitting down going through my finances on a weekly basis fun. And yeah, made it fun because everything was I want to ask you a question for these young girls. What tools are you giving them at this young age for them to get a handle on their finances now?
So we have at my firm, we offer a community at no cost to community groups, a program called Financial Fitness. And this is a national program that we offer. We're working with the public schools, but this is actually a 60-minute module link. Keisha, I'm not sure if I sent you that link or not. And if I didn't, I apologize and I will send it to you. But this is a link that I send to my the families that I financially plan with, and usually the ones who have high school age students, to help them facilitate those conversations about financial fitness. They're broken down into 4-minute modules so they can pick whatever module that they're curious about, and it'll really give you the foundations of that particular point. So budgeting typically is the budgeting tools and foundations are what I like to use with the kids. And I like them to kind of see real time, what will happen if you do this versus that. So for example, if you're dealing with a kid, let's just say their parent gives them $10 for allowance every Friday. We're talking about the psychology of that $10 and how that $10 is moving. And we're talking about the sensibility of why the $10 need to move with the 50-30-20 rule. The 50-30-20 rule says that 50% of the income that you get should go towards the things that you absolutely need. Now, it's hard to, get a 13-year-old who has everything provided for them to think in terms of needs. That is why it's important for the parents to play an integral role in the foundations of financial literacy by making these kids deserve what they get, right? And earn what they get, and even invest in what they want. So if you want this, like for example, I'm your age, so I grew up when by the time we were in high school, Guess had came out with like all these multicolored blue jean outfits, the jacket and the pants. And I wanted like every single color, like all the other girls. Well, my mom she was always a thrifty woman, and she was an investor in real estate in the market. She's like, no, it's not necessary. If you want an additional color from the one that I'm buying you, you need to pay for it. So I had to work towards the one that I really wanted. Right. And then once I had the half of the money that my mom told me to save up, which I had to save half of my allowance, I had to make sure that I was on code with all my chores so I can get that money. Right. Because my mom wasn't giving out anything without you doing what she needed you to do for her. Period. So once I did save half, she was just like, I was like, Mom, I got half. And by then I wanted another outfit. It was the same price. And she was like, okay. She took me to Northland Mall and we got it. Right. But I bought that. I felt like I bought that. I felt like I contributed to this outfit. And it was a meaningful purchase for me because I used my own money. I took care of it a lot better. There's a whole psychology of when you are investing in yourself, you are taking care of yourself and the things that you purchase or invest in a totally different way. And that's why, the psychology of money and even acquiring material things, it has to be balanced. It has to be checked. You have to kind of understand what you're doing. So with these young kids, it's hard. But if you show them, hey, you get $10 a week, I want you to spend $50 on, whatever you need, right? Or whatever you want, whatever you need, right? But this other $5 or this $10, 50%, I'm sorry, the other $5, I want you to save it. Don't do nothing with it. Out of sight, out of mind. Give it to me. I won't touch it. Put it in the vault. My kids have a vault that has a code in it. So they drop their dollars in there. I don't see it. I don't touch it. And when they're ready to buy something that they like or whatever, I say, let's see what's in the vault, right? Because I'm making them understand that you do not have to spend all this money. I don't care if it's $5.
Mhm.
Mm.
Angie, can
Right.
you, Angie,
yeah.
a second. Can you put that link in, put that in the chat?
I can't put it in a chat right now, but what I will do is there a way that I can send it to Keisha? LaKeisha, can you kick it? Can you send this to everyone if
Yes,
I email it?
absolutely. And I
Oh,
would love to share those other links if it's okay with them, because those were amazing links that they had.
absolutely.
And I want to
Did
take
I put the financial fitness in that group of links that I sent to
financial
you?
fitness. No, I
Okay,
didn't see the financial fitness one, and I want to know if it's the same program that I was invested in. It was an educational with all kind of books and CDs. It was called Financial Fitness. But I do want to take a moment to welcome Quenisha, Ebony, Terry Gant, Miss Avery. Thank you all, Yvette. Alexis, for showing up. I really appreciate you taking out the time on our Millionaire Mindset Monday. But one of the things
Welcome.
I really wanted to hit on, if it's at all possible, is that, so what about those of us who are, have been entrepreneurs for practically all our lives, and maybe we have not set up our retirement properly, or we have to do it differently from
Okay,
those
yeah.
who actually worked.
I'm gonna
And
throw myself in
yeah,
that category because I have not. I'm gonna be honest with you and I are the same age. And I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. But if we're the same age in that same millennial group, I haven't started anything. I'll be honest. I just have not. But I have not really worked a traditional job. Ooh, and God knows how long to start a 401k. So where would someone like me actually get started?
so typically, and this isn't financial advice, and I have to be careful to say that because I can't give financial advice over social media platforms. But I would say this: I just say for my what I am targeted to do. Right now, my passion is hitting people who are working and they're between 30 and 40 years old. And the reason why is because I just turned 41 last Monday. The reason
Congratulations.
why
Happy
is
birthday.
because thank you so much. But I'll tell you we have such a huge time horizon, right? Most of us, like my target to be out of the workforce is 65, right? So I have a nice duration of time between now and then to do everything right. So what I did before, I didn't do everything right before, that's irrelevant. What I'm doing right now absolutely matters. Watching your pennies. I always tell people if you're behind on financial planning, you need to really look at your finances as if you've taken a 5 to 10K a year pay cut, and you should be living like that, and it's going to be, tight for a while. But this is what a lot of my high net worth clients who did not inherit legacy wealth, they just understood when was the time to hamper down and live lower, right? So there's a time where you can't keep up with the Joneses, your best friends, they going out to eat all the time, they doing all this. You have to have discipline to say, I can't do that, right? So you're not like, when you get to like, if you're at 40 really is the cutoff point to where you're like, okay, I got to start. Like once you start getting into your 50, now you're really simplifying if you
Okay.
didn't take care of what you needed to take care of before, because you got to protect yourself from the unexpected, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You are your bread and butter, right? You don't have, all of the, sort of benefits that somebody in the workforce will have if they got a sudden, lost or, hurt themselves on the job for whatever reasons, there's workers' comp, provisions for people like that, right? Well, entrepreneurs, you're betting on yourself, right? And because you're betting on yourself, you have to bet on yourself in a very smart way.
Okay. And I feel that. And I'm like, for people who are able to, like you said, we make what we make to pay our bills, and then we save what we need to save for a rainy day. What about that investment money? Like, how can I say this? Like you said, save away $5. I might save away $2.50, because the other $2.50, I can take this and I can purchase something and sell it to somebody and turn $2.50 into $7, or turn that $2.50 into $10. Being able to have money move and also not necessarily be, what is it? I don't want to say stagnant, but just sitting
You
there.
want
You know
your
what I'm
money
saying?
compound. Yep. So you want to be in a position where your money is compounding. So I'll tell you this. Working with me as a financial advisor, there's a couple of bases that I like to cover before we even start talking about anything on the investment side, just because protecting yourself is always going to be important to me. And so what I do is I look at the balance sheet of the people that I'm working with first. We got to know what your money is doing, the money coming in, the money coming out, right? We have conversations about what the money coming out is doing, because we need to know, is this a need or a want, right? Am I buying a need or a want? And if it's a want, then that's when we have to evaluate, hey, do you really need to buy this? The next step with that would be, okay, do you have an emergency savings account, right? And if your emergency savings account has 6 months of liquidity, if you are a single person, and if you are a family, we like to see 9 months of liquidity, meaning that 9 months of your household operations are covered. And then after that, then we get to the investment point. So it is really a stepping stone with investment. Some people put the cart before the horse.
I wasn't even saying investment. I was saying as an entrepreneur, because I'm like, there's money that, and I've heard everything that you said everything that you said, I've heard that from a lot of my elders and everything. But I'm like, what about the money? Like, I'm in an MLM that does bring in extra income besides me working my regular job. I do have to take some money. That I don't know if that calls investing or hustling or whatever, but it's a little bit to make a little bit more, to stretch that dollar a little bit more.
That's a passive income strategy, though, right?
Okay.
So you're and passive income strategies are a big part of the total financial plan, right? You kind of it's like sort of building blocks. Okay, I got my savings account now. All right, now that I got my savings account bucket full, now I got to go into, okay, I know my money's not going to compound that richly in a savings account. So I do have to take a little bit more risk to get a little bit more reward. That's where the investing comes in, right? Once you have a good investment strategy where your performance is doing good, you're invested in some quality companies, then you start diversifying it's really a stepping stone. And I saw somebody push out insurance. Insurance is a great way to protect, your legacy, right? It's a great way to protect your legacy, but you don't benefit from insurance. Somebody else benefits from your insurance.
Well,
your life insurance.
Typically, normally that's how it used to go, but there are some policies that you can use it as a living benefit as well as a death benefit.
So, but when you think about those living benefit policies, depending on how long you live, typically there isn't a death benefit at the end. So when most of the people who choose the living benefit option, they are so that they are not leaving anything to anybody else from that policy or anything that would be much of a legacy. And most people, they make that resolve if I've seen people, I have this brokerage account and this IRA or whatever, this is going to be left to my kids, and I'm just going to live off the benefit of my insurance policy, right? And that is possible. You can do that if you don't plan on leaving a legacy. a lot of people, depending on what their goals are, they want to be able to leave a decent legacy to somebody when they die. Typically, the living benefit isn't giving you a lot of that because you're basically drawing down from the death benefit.
Mm.
You are. And it does also, like, it's a strategy to it because, you know, everything is individualized because it really depends
Mm-hmm.
on goals and what it is that you're,
Right.
that you're trying to accomplish. Like most of my clients have both. They have a term with the return of premium that comes with options, and then they also have a whole life set in place. But it is individualized, even as far as investments and what it is that you're trying to do. It is individualized. But one thing
You
that
have to be careful with your life insurance too, because when you do have a life insurance policy that's attached to the market, people do need to be aware that there is more risk to that. There's fixed types of life insurance policies, but then the ones that are market tied, people definitely have to be educated on the risk because I've seen people, and it's really sad, like where they'll have like a universal life policy or something like that. And they would be like, they've had the thing for like 10 years, invested 70K, and then the premiums go up and they can't afford the premiums because obviously premiums go up as you get older, right? Sometimes if there's some health, issues that pop up, those premiums can skyrocket. And we all have to be conscious of the state of life insurance from at least since 2020, right? They've paid out way more death benefits in the last 4 years than they've anticipated, right? They're gonna recoup that, right? So it's always like, as a financial planner, we understand that insurance is a good piece of the public puzzle. That's why all of us are insurance licensed, but at the same time, it is not the strategy. The insurance strategy around investments can be very expensive to an individual. And that's why I try to make sure that people kind of understand, well-roundedly, not just the investment options, but what are you paying for these? Can you get this growth in another vehicle or another strategy?
With that being said, I always would like to also stress also, because that's what I was going to hit on, the universal life. But that's why it's also important to have your reviews, your policy reviews. It is important. I recommend that you, if at least once a year. I recommend every 6 months, but at least once a year, have a policy review. Because and you do have to be careful with those universal life policies. I really technically don't care for them a lot because I have dealt with clients also that have been paid into these policies for years, and then it's based off of the stock market, and after a while you end up having to pay more, and then like Miss Carr said, then your health may not be in the may not being the best at that particular time. So I have seen people, or I've had clients where having a universal life was not to their advantage. That was really good, Ms. Carter. I appreciate you sharing that information. And yes, please, have a review of your insurance policy.
And you should be doing that every year. So, well, I mean, at my firm, we are required annually to review our clients' investment strategies with them. It has to be a whole sign-off process. The client even understands that, hey, every year you need to make time to talk to me about this strategy. Talk to me about anything that has gone on in your life. You usually take the time with the annual reviews to see, has anything changed? Because a lot can change in a person's life in a year where their strategy needs to change. I had a lady who was making over 6 figures, and unfortunately she got pushed out of her position, which she was in for over 15 years, had some level of job security because she was like the head chick in charge and nothing moved without her. And she just thought she was expendable. And then she called me and she goes, "Girl, the devil is after me. the devil is after me. And I'm like, what's going on? And she said, I feel like, they brought this younger chick in and they got me training her on everything that I do, talking about they want to take the load off of me. Well, couple of months later, she was let go. And that was an income that she did not expect was going to happen to her. You know what I mean? And so it's always good to sort of look at where you're at, because we had to completely revamp her investment strategy, because she had a comfortability with the risk of the market, which was okay because she had income to support that risk. Now that she is out of work and has been out of work for over a year, we had to adjust the strategy. I gave her 3 months just to see if she was going to have anything come up in the radar. I had to call her quarterly because it was really important that if nothing changed in her income, that we needed to dial down her investment strategy. And I let her know that right off the bat, because we cannot take risk on principle if there's not income, to support this strategy. So a lot can change in a year. And so you do want to make sure that if you're working with a financial services person, you, even if it's an insurance strategy that you have, that you are looking and you're being looking at that strategy every year, and you're being completely open. It's like my mom's best friend was a registered nurse at Beaumont Hospital, and she said the biggest reason why misdiagnoses happen is because people are not telling their doctors everything. They're telling them one little thing, oh, my head hurt, right? But they're not telling them about that throbbing pain and, somewhere else, like in their neck or something that, so if you're not telling the whole story, you're not going to get the full benefits. And that goes with financial strategy too. We are paid to be in your business, all up in your business. We are nosy as hell as financial advisors, but it's only because we want to make sure that everything that we're doing for you is in the best interest. And part of that annual review is this strategy at this point in your life in your best interest?
I just want to say this is a little bit off topic, but not really. When she says that one thing you definitely want to tell the truth is to your doctor as well as your accountant and your financial planner. And then a lot of times, you go to the doctor and you're not telling them that you're not taking your medications on a regular. One of my close partners, Miss Gant, she talks about that a lot. And so if you're not telling your doctor that you're not taking your meds the way he expected, and then you're having these issues, then he may be providing you with some additional medicine, that you probably wouldn't need, but he didn't know that you wasn't taking your medicine the way you're supposed to. So always, tell your doctor whether you're taking your medicine on a regular basis.
So it's a matter of being of an integrity in all way around all areas of your life, period. And I'm like the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I don't know why this is just clicking, but for me, like I'm 42. I'll be 43 in August of this year, and I know it's time to start getting things in order. And stuff is finally starting to click, and it's starting to make sense. And that's was the missing, is that it wasn't making any sense. It was like when you talk financial, being around people who are a little bit more financially astute than you consistently start hearing the language and start a language of finance, and actually start understanding more about finances, being around people who are, I'm not gonna say they have it together, because we all don't necessarily have it together, but they have it, they're doing it. It's a difference. It's a difference being around people who always talk about Section 8 and bridge cards, and it's different between people who talk about financial planning and diversifying and investing. If that makes any sense. It's like, yeah, this is starting to make way more sense now, and I can get it. Once I continue hearing the language over and over and over and over again, then I have a better understanding as to what needs to be done. So also, I feel better having somebody my age talk to me about my finances, because I feel like there's so much different ways of creating, generating, building, saving, and investing in 2024 than stuff that was happening 20 years ago. And some elder financial planners are still using the tools from 20 years ago and not the tools of today, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, because there's so many, like you said, there's so many ways to make money. There's so many ways that you can do what you love and really have a decent passive income strategy. Like, for example, I'm a writer. I enjoy writing. I like writing different social, political, and spiritual perspectives to help people kind of understand the world around them in broad terms. And I write on Substack, and I just do what I love. And obviously, with Substack, they give people the options to tune into your newsletter for free, or if they really like your content and they like the value that the value that you provide, then they'll pay, $80 to $100 a year to subscribe to your newsletter. So I have about 600 subscribers to my newsletter, and many of them have annual subscription commitments because they find value in the newsletter. And that's, I'm just doing what I like. I'm not really banking on any money from it, but it's just, I get money from it. You know what I mean? I don't even think
Right.
about them. You know what I mean?
One of the things I turned into is affiliate marketing, because I literally have become a walking brand of brands,
Yeah.
especially Black-owned brands. So if somebody say, "Hey, I like your glasses," I have a link for that. If somebody say, "Hey, what vitamin did you just take?" I have a link for that. What is the coffee? I have a link. I have a link for almost everything that I use on a regular basis, because I'm like, if I'm gonna give you word of mouth about what it is products that I'm using, then I feel like I should get some sort of something for that. And so my biggest thing is, right now, I already know I need to generate more income to make sure that my bills are paid, because what little money that I am getting from my links. Oh, and also on Facebook, my page is professional on Facebook, and every time I post and engage with people on Facebook, Facebook is actually paying me to actually do that. So my thing is, I want to get this extra money to go towards savings or go towards investing, as opposed to, well, right now I'm thankful and grateful that it's there, because it is help filling in the gaps for when stuff happens.
Right.
So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. That's all. Or just
Well,
I see
YouTube
that we're
will
on the same
also pay
page.
you.
Huh?
YouTube will also pay you to watch videos. They have an affiliate program too, where a lot of times people will spend like hours like watching YouTube videos sometimes, just going back and forth. And they do have an affiliate program where if you're sitting there watching videos, you do get a cut of the ad revenue because you're promoting that particular content. So there's so many creative ways to make passive income. Then you have to decide, once you're making this passive income, what is happening to it though, right? Or if it's passive income, then it's really theoretically money that you don't need. So it should be sitting in a pot, growing like money that you don't need.
LaKeisha?
Yes. So for those that are like in their 30s or older, and maybe their retirement may not be where it needs to be, are there any things that you suggest that they research or learn about? Like maybe solo 401ks if you're an entrepreneur and don't have a 401k. Are there anything or that you suggest that they start educating themselves on?
Yeah. So, when you're an entrepreneur, you're really operating like a business. You're operating like a business, but you're more closer to an individual, right? You're closer to an individual. And so the first thing that entrepreneurs want to be conscious of is their structure. How are you structured, right? Making sure that from the structure standpoint that you're protecting yourself on the tax side. And that's where, a tax attorney or somebody like that will kind of give you that confidence, right? Because the structure is going to matter as to, what kind of accounts that you can have and you should have, right? There are small business accounts that do have tax advantages to the business for just contributing, right? And as small business owners, and if you want to know more about that, I can send you some links to those accounts, right? To kind of understand what those accounts look like and how they may fit your business. What I typically do with the small businesses that I work with is I do a complete needs assessment before making a recommendation. And then after the recommendation, I tell them before we even implement this, talk to your tax advisor, right? Because really, they're going to be the ones that confirms to you that your structure is the most tax friendly for you, right? And then the next step would be for a small business owner is, understanding how you are paying yourself, right? That's a very important issue that small businesses have, is that balance between themselves and the business. There are some small business owners who are paying themselves way too much out of the business, right? As opposed to them being that lower $15 an hour employee, until they can get the business and the profits and revenue where it needs to be. A lot of them are paying themselves salaries out of the business, which kind of hurt the business, long-term business operations. So kind of understanding how the revenue and the profits of the business is working for both you and the business is very important. Because once you understand that piece, then we can start talking, okay, now we got you taken care of. We know that this business is supporting you as well, and there has to be that separation between the individual and the business for legal and tax liability reasons. You want to be as separate from your business as possible, right? But then once you have that separation, then you have your business accounts and your individual accounts. Now your focus is, how are both of these accounts growing? What are they doing? So just like you need an emergency savings fund for your own personal life, you need an emergency savings fund for your business. If something like COVID hit tomorrow, right? If it hits tomorrow, right? And you have a disruption in your business in any kind of way, even online businesses will experience the disruption from something like COVID, because now people are more worried about their dollars, right? They're worried about how they're spending during crises, right? So those are the steps that small business owners need to be conscious of, right? How am I structured? How is this business? How am I paying myself? How am I paying my business? Do I have an emergency savings fund? Do the business have an emergency fund? These are very key priorities to have. Once the emergency savings fund is covered on both ends, now we got to think about, what is this money doing afterwards? Is there a opportunity to have an investment account for this business where I am having access cash flow compounding so that it can service my business in other ways in the future? These are all the things that small businesses want to think about. And obviously, you want to have yourself insured in some kind of way. You want to have yourself insured in some kind of way. And that's going to really determine on your own particular situation. Because like I said, there are certain life insurance policies, for example, that work well for one person because of their situation and the legacies that they have. And others just don't work. If you're a single person, right, you don't have kids, you're just auntie to everybody. It's like, you may not need to invest in the same type of policy as somebody who has a whole Brady Bunch. You know what I mean? So understanding your own individual situation.
Quinn, you had your hand up.
Yeah, Angie, can you you post your contact information in the chat, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Did you have, Miss Avery, was you raising your hand? Did you have a question, Miss Avery? Okay, well, it's 9:56. She posted her information in the chat. So if anybody wants to get her information, please feel free to do so. And I would like to say thank you so very much, Ms. Card. You really shared some good information on different aspects in different areas. One thing does anybody have any questions for Ms. Card before we talk about, okay, Sharonda? Sharonda, just go ahead and that was a lot. Go ahead and can you share what you said?
Hey everybody. Good grand rising. I just was just some little comments from what y'all was saying when you were talking about the doctors. It sounded like you saying don't lie via omission, with the doctor and the financial planner. We want to be up front so that we can get the best help. And I'm glad that y'all had Miss Card on, and I'm just glad for this group because as y'all said, we going to another level. And like when Sister Dietra was in the dark, and she's like, let me turn the light on. It's like you don't know you in the dark and or unaware until like Miss Carr said, until the philosophy and we're educated. So when we know better, we do better. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So, I'm looking forward to, going to a better level and getting set up. So that one resource that I put in the chat is just something that it came across my desk earlier to achieve her. But I definitely want to get with you all, both of y'all ladies, and get set up or see where I need to go, because I got to get this together, because I'm right in that same boat, like not having anything set up. But it's like, okay, people be like, oh yeah, the 401k, but it's like, if you don't really know, it's like my parents didn't do no 401k. You know what I mean? So it's like I just haven't really been educated. So thank y'all for all of this, and looking forward to making it happen and better being financially fit. How about that?
I was going to tell you too, one of the things I want to give you a pointer to that really helped me with just getting myself just situated. And I started doing this about 4 years ago. I really understanding, like I said, what your money is doing, that money coming in, that money coming out. The money coming out is really important. So I looked at the fact that if you DoorDash, you have a personal chef. And you have to ask yourself, do I need a personal chef? DoorDash can cost a lot of money. And when it first came on the scene, I was using it because it was convenient, working from home, all of this stuff, the kids at home, it just made everything, you would think that you cook more, but when you're doing everything at home and on the go, it's one of those things, it become a convenience. And before you know it, you're paying like $300-400 a month for a personal chef using DoorDash. And so I eliminated that. And I literally said, I'm going with the out of sight, out of mind mentality. If I can spend $300 on food, right? $300-400 a month on food, I might as well just go to the bank and throw $300-400 in the toilet. That's really what you're doing, because when you eat the food, it's only going one place. So I developed the out of sight, out of mind. So what you do is you have your money automatically moving out of your sight. Right. So what I do is that $300 that I was spending or wasting on DoorDash, I moved it straight to my IRA. Right. I put myself in a position almost like Kevin Hart, where you say how my bank account is set up. Ain't nobody asking me for money without me taking that tax hit. For real. I literally set my money up because my family members do not do the same thing that I do. They always broke. You always feel kind of sympathy for people. You don't want them in the jam, but then you realize you enjoying your money and then you're relying on my money. So you got to start getting into that out of sight, out of mind habit where you are moving expendable cash out of your sight so that it's not even there. If you don't see it, you're not spending it.
Yeah, thank you for that, because we definitely align, because right as you started saying that is exactly what came to my mind. So when it comes to all of this stuff, and you talked about the emergency fund and all of that, to me, the hardest part was getting it set up on automation. When I was starting to save, I was at Subway. I was trying to get my emergency fund up, under Dave Ramsey, all this stuff. And $50 was the hardest thing. But once I got it set up, it was like a weight off of my back. Then once I started making more, then I went to 150, got to the school. Then, like you said, get the 200. Then you said get the 300. When get the more, it's so much better and so much easier. Now that I'm over here at the credit union, because I'm a teacher by trade, they have a HSA, which is the health savings account. So that's a whole nother play. I'm like, I never even heard of it. I'm still trying to figure that out too. But being able to move and store money and get your taxes down as much as possible is still some things that I'm trying to learn about. But as you said, having those strategies is just really, really good.
I can
Okay.
explain those options for you so that you feel a little bit more educated about why you should be investing in yourself with that. And anybody with a 401k and your employer is matching, just understand that that is free money you are walking away from. If they're matching 5%, just put the 5% in. That way, that at least that like there's a deduction coming out of your pay that is going towards your long-term retirement. So always go for the 401k. You may feel like, a lot of people feel like, I can't have this money being taken out of my account. But if you literally set your budget for that money to be out of your account, because what would you do if you took a pay cut, right? What if tomorrow your employer say, hey, or whatever happens, you're going to have to go down like $10,000. You're going to have to readjust anyways. So just start making that readjustment where you're living $5,000 to $10,000 less than you're making. That way it will make saving, because now you know that you're paying yourself. With the 401k, it breaks my heart when people are working at these companies and they're not contributing, because a lot of times companies are matching. They're not matching as lucratively as they used to, but they're still giving you free money towards your retirement, and you want to take that money.
Yes, max it out if you can. With the max that they
Amen.
If you can. So this was really great. It's 10:04. I just want to say thank you so much, Ms. Card. I hope that everyone found this information valuable, because retirement is so important, especially for those who've been working for themselves for so many years. We have to do things a lot differently, and so retirement, sometimes we live as though we have 100 more years to live, and not really taking into consideration our retirement. And I feel like it's never too late. You can always start now, but it's something that we all should be very conscious of, is our retirement. What is it going to look like when you reach the age 65 or the age 70, because we're living longer. So you definitely want to take this in consideration. I thought it was very vital that, as Elizabeth, we're talking about leveling up and making a difference. And, your retirement is one of those things that we definitely need to look at. And so I just want to say thank you, Ms. Card. I want to make one announcement, is that the Hatch grant, the deadline is the 15th. I believe it's the 15th. So anybody who is considering and want to have their own building, I do encourage you to look into the Detroit Hatch grant for those. It's an amazing opportunity. Danyelle, did you have anything before we close out, and then Queen Aduni close us on out?
So yes, I just put my Linktree link in the chat. And like I said, one of the things that I'm doing, I'm becoming a brand of brands. SoFi Bank actually has a referral program. I get 75, you get 75 if you open up a qualifying account with $50. My cousin did it. It's for real, for real. You can do this up to about $10,000. I also have a link for Govee. I'm just asking my Elizabeth to support in any way possible. Buy a product, get a liquid vitamin, buy some coffee, just getting a goal of getting an extra check every single week. I am a product of a generation that wants to work smarter, not necessarily harder. So every little bit helps. But check out my link tree because all my links are updated, and your support is greatly appreciated. And if you're interested for another way of having more passive income, please, what is it? Inbox me, text me. You know, I'll put my number in there. There's ways of just sharing a link, like my glasses. I got almost $50 compiled from sharing the link with VoogMe, which these cost $135. We're gonna go to $135 so I can get another free pair of glasses because I like this. So, and also I'm putting together a workshop for Facebook. What is it? Becoming a Facebook affiliate, because this is ridiculous how these bonuses are working. And if you're on Facebook as much as I am, you should be getting paid for posting. So yeah, I'm gonna come up with a workshop about getting paid for posting because it's way simpler than what you think, but you also have to create consistent content. And one of my videos from this weekend from doing a head wrap workshop with Zarina of Beautifully Wrapped, it went 10K from Saturday night. And that was from a 13-minute video that I still have to cut down because I have more demos to cut down. So yeah, there's money to be made that some of us are just laying on the table, and we're gonna get to that. So I will be creating a workshop out of that, how to get paid for posting. So coming soon. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good show. Good show. And I will post this on the front page of GrandeRisingElizabeth.com. If you go to the archives, back to the very beginning when we started, you can look at any show. And so I want to thank you all. And if you can just give yourself a big old hug today. And give the world a hug. And sprinkle goodness and kindness and a beautiful smile all over the world. Peace out.
Love you guys.
Have a fantastic day on purpose.